If you were born an American man, you won the genetic lottery. I'm going to show you the exact 3 privileges that gave you advantages most of the world will never have, and why recognizing them is the most powerful thing you can do. This isn't guilt. This is clarity. By the end, you'll understand how to leverage your advantages to create real impact. And if you stay until the end, I'll reveal the one mindset shift that separates grateful men from entitled ones. Welcome back to Deeper Dudes. But first, let's talk about why so many American men walk around angry and bitter. You scroll social media and see complaints. The system is rigged. Nobody gets ahead anymore. Everything's stacked against us. And I get it because I've been there. When you're struggling to pay rent or stuck in a job you hate, privilege feels like a cruel joke someone's playing on you. But here's the truth nobody wants to hear. If you were born in America as a man, especially a white man, you started the race halfway to the finish line while most of the world is still looking for shoes. Research from the Global Mobility Report shows that being born in the United States puts you in the top 5% of global economic opportunity just by geography alone. Add being male to that equation, and you avoid the wage gaps, safety concerns, and systemic barriers that women face daily across every culture. Now add being white, and you statistically avoid the discrimination in hiring, housing, lending, and criminal justice that people of color navigate constantly. This isn't opinion. This is data. But we're not taught to see it this way. We're taught that real men are self-made, that asking for help or acknowledging advantage is weakness. What a load of crap. So when someone points out privilege, it feels like an attack on everything you've worked for instead of what it actually is, which is a factual observation about starting conditions. I know because I lived it. I grew up middle class, white, in suburban America. I thought I earned everything through hard work. And I did work hard. But when I traveled to developing countries and saw men equally smart, equally driven, working twice as hard for 1/10 of the opportunity, it hit me. I didn't just work hard. I worked hard on easy mode. And recognizing that didn't diminish my effort. It clarified my responsibility. Privilege isn't about guilt, it's about awareness. And here's exactly how to use that awareness. Advantage 1, economic mobility and safety nets. The United States, despite its flaws, has infrastructure that most of the world lacks. Clean water from every tap, reliable electricity, roads that connect opportunity, legal systems that, while imperfect, provide some recourse, public education that's free through high school. And if you're male, you historically had easier access to credit, business loans, and capital than women or minorities. Here's what this means practically. When you fail in America, you can try again. Bankruptcy laws exist. Social safety nets, however thin, provide some cushion. You're not one drought away from starvation, one illness away from total ruin, one corrupt official away from losing everything. Most of the world doesn't have that. In many countries, if your business fails, your family starves. If you get sick, you die or go into permanent debt. If you cross the wrong person, there's no legal protection. Being American means the floor of your failure is higher than the ceiling of success in much of the world. I saw this firsthand in Southeast Asia. I met a guy running a small shop, working 14-hour days, brilliant mind, spoke 3 languages. He made less in a month than I spent on coffee, not because he worked less hard, because he was born in the wrong place. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. This doesn't mean your struggles aren't real. It means your struggles happen within a system that gives you options. Advantage 2, cultural and gender advantages. Being male in America means you walk through the world with invisible benefits. You're not questioned about having kids when interviewing for jobs. You're not told to smile more or that you're too aggressive when you negotiate. You don't calculate which parking spots are well lit or whether your drink was left unattended. You don't carry keys between your knuckles walking to your car. Research from the National Bureau of Economic Research shows that resumes with male names receive 30% more callbacks than identical resumes with female names. Men are perceived as more competent by default, more authoritative, more leadership ready. And if you're white, you layer on another advantage. Your name doesn't get your resume filtered out. You don't get followed in stores. You don't have to prep your kids for interactions with police. You're given the benefit of the doubt in ambiguous situations. One of my friends, a black man with an identical resume to mine, applied to the same companies I did early in our careers. He got a third of the responses I did. Same qualifications. Different name, different outcome. That's not merit, that's privilege. And recognizing it didn't make me feel guilty. It made me ask better questions. How can I use my access to open doors for others? How can I amplify voices that don't get heard? How can I build systems that level the playing field, instead of just benefiting from the tilt? When you stop being defensive about privilege and start being intentional about it, everything changes. Before we go any further, I want to pause for something important. None of what we've been talking about matters if we don't have the energy and clarity to actually implement it. Look, we can't become the best version of ourselves on a broken foundation. We all know what it feels like to wake up exhausted. No energy, poor focus, and zero motivation. I've been there. I also know what it feels like when I get good, restful sleep, targeted therapy, and the right supplements. They form an essential part of this healing journey we're on. I've personally tested more things than you can imagine. I'm like your personal guinea pig. Everything linked in the description below I personally love. These are some of the best science-backed and extensively tested products. And if you grab anything through my links, you'll be supporting this channel at zero cost to you. Thanks for taking a look. Now let's get back to it. If this is helping, please hit that like button so more men can find this perspective when they need it. And drop a comment. What advantage are you most grateful for? I want to hear from you. Now here's the truth about gratitude that changes everything. Gratitude isn't about comparing your pain to someone else's and deciding yours doesn't matter. It's about comparing your opportunities to someone else's and deciding what you'll do with them. This is where most men get it wrong. They hear privilege and think it means shut up, you have no problems. But that's not it at all. Privilege means you have problems, and you also have more resources, more safety, and more options to solve them than most humans will ever have. And that creates responsibility. Research from Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck shows that people who recognize their advantages while still acknowledging their effort develop what she calls a growth mindset with humility. They see their success as part skill, part circumstance, and part luck. And that perspective makes them better leaders, better partners, and better humans. Because they stop hoarding opportunity and start creating it for others. Here's how this works in practice. Advantage 3, the compounding effect of yes. When you're an American man, especially white, you get more yeses. Yes to the loan, yes to the meeting, yes to the second chance, yes to the benefit of the doubt. Each yes compounds. The loan lets you start a business. The business creates wealth. The wealth creates options. The options create security. And security creates the ability to take risks that lead to even more success. Meanwhile, someone equally talented who keeps hearing no stays stuck, not because they're less capable, because the system said no at step 1, and they never got to step 2. I've seen this in my own life. I got a business loan at 24 with minimal credit history because I looked the part and had a decent pitch. My friend, a woman with better credit and a better plan, got rejected twice before finally getting approved with worse terms. That's not merit, that's advantage. And once I saw it, I couldn't pretend it away. So here's what I did. I started asking different questions in rooms I had access to. Who's not at this table? Whose perspective are we missing? How can we change our hiring process to reduce bias? I used my yeses to create more yeses for others. And that's not charity, that's strategy. Because diverse teams outperform homogeneous ones. Different perspectives create better solutions. And lifting others doesn't lower you, it raises everyone. The synthesis of all three advantages creates a compounding effect. Economic mobility gives you room to fail and try again. Gender and cultural advantages give you access and benefit of the doubt. And the compounding yeses turn small advantages into generational wealth and opportunity. When you combine all three, you're not just lucky, you're playing a different game than most of the world. And recognizing that isn't about guilt, it's about gratitude. Deep, transformative gratitude that asks, what will I do with this? How will I use my advantages to create opportunity for others? How will I build systems that are fair instead of just systems that benefit me? Here's the final piece that most men miss. Privilege isn't permanent unless you're intentional about passing it on equitably. You can hoard it, keep the doors closed behind you, and maintain the status quo. Or you can leverage it, open doors, and create a world where more people get to play on easy mode. The men who choose the latter don't just succeed, they create legacy. They're remembered not for what they accumulated, but for what they built and who they lifted. And that's the paradox of privilege. The more you acknowledge it, the more powerful you become. Because you stop wasting energy defending what you have and start investing energy in making the game better for everyone. And when you do that, you don't just change your life, you change the system. This is how American men move from entitlement to impact, not by denying their advantages, but by deploying them for something bigger than themselves. Well, that's it. Drop a comment. Which advantage hit you hardest? Economic mobility, gender and cultural benefits, or the compounding effect of yes? And what's one way you can use your privilege this week to lift someone else? Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We hope you found it helpful. If you did, please be sure to give it a like and maybe even subscribe to Deeper Dudes, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. It all helps the channel more than you know, and it also tells us that we should make more content like this. We post videos every other day that tackle real challenges men face. So if you like this one, you're probably going to enjoy the others. Remember, struggling doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. The fact that you took time to watch this means you're ready for something better. Thanks again for watching and for checking out all the amazing products in the description below. They could jumpstart your healing journey. Catch you in the next one. Deeper Dudes. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, keep thriving.